Hello there. My name is Beth Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks, and I am the host of Building the World We Want. And here is my husband, and he's sitting here holding my hand. He's not the co host, he is my support because we believe that the world that we want to build, one of the things that we need is support. And we don't need to be ashamed of that or try to hide that or do any of that. So he's going to be sitting in. Now, I have no idea what's going to happen when I bring on my other guests in terms of how the image is going to look, but we'll find out. So I have a couple of guests who are coming on a bit later, but I want to talk to you about this show and how it has changed and the direction that we're going in and why. So it's called Building the World We Want. And it is perfectly obvious to the vast number of Americans that we have a terrible government that's running our country into the ground and that is brutalizing people and destroying the economy and taking away our freedoms and all of that. So I'm not here to tell you that because you probably already know that or you wouldn't be here. And I would like to say that I'm very proud of the American people for all the incredibly creative ways that people have been resisting what has been happening in our nation. At the same time as I can admire and appreciate that resistance, I'm saying we need something more, that it is time for us to start to build the world we want. And what does that look like? And why do I think this is the right time? You know, there are so many fires that are being created by this lightning that is called President Trump. Attacking this one, attacking that one, hurting this, tariffs, and now we're taking over Venezuelan oil vessels, and we're arresting innocent people and putting them in detention. I mean, it's ghastly, right? So with all of that, it's very easy to get discouraged and to feel overwhelmed. I mean, I can't even keep track of all the terrible things that our government is doing from one moment to the other. And I know that a lot of you feel exactly the same way. I know that people are discouraged, they're in pain, they're depressed, and all of that. They're also fighting, which is lovely. But there is something that some of us are sensing needs to happen now, which is we want to start creating and co creating the world we want to live in, not just try to object to the one that we don't want to live in. Now, why do I say that? Why do I say that this is even happening? Well, something interesting is happening in the media. If you've been following it at all, a lot of the quote, what they call legacy media, NBC, CBS, Trump has been attacking and CNN. Trump is now trying to take over CNN. They've already damaged CBS. And what has happened is people have been taking their power by creating independent media. Now, you could say, oh, it's a shame what's happening to the legacy media. It's a shame what's happening. The Washington Post was taken over by Jeff Bezos and of Amazon, right? And yes, it is a shame. On the one hand, it is a shame. On the other hand, it is not a shame. It is an opportunity. It is an opportunity for those of us who actually care about truth to create alternative media. Now, the right wing created alternative media, and the rest of us need to do the same. So this is co-creating the world we want to live in is co-creating alternative media where we get to be honest, where we are um, speaking out the truth, and where we have an opportunity to mobilize one another. Now, I should have a chat here. Okay, here it is. I want to tell you that we are simultaneously broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube. And if you are on my public Facebook page, Beth Green, the music and the message. If you put in a comment, I'll see it. And if on YouTube, I will see it. And we can chat back and forth. So I've given you a perfect example of co-creating the world we want to live in is what is happening with independent media. And it isn't just that. I heard a pastor who is from Chicago who was standing up along with a lot of other religious people and not religious people standing up against ICE in Chicago. And it was very famous. People knew about him. He was assaulted. He was pushed to the ground. I mean, it was ghastly, right? And they were outside praying, right? And what he said in an interview that I heard him giving is that he said that the people who were standing around were creating a kind of an informal alliance of people with spiritual beliefs or maybe not spiritual beliefs. It wasn't led by anybody, it wasn't religious in particular, and that they were kind of co creating um, a network of people from a spiritual perspective who were fighting back against the ghastliness of the Trump administration and its treatment of immigrants, which of course almost all of us are from immigrant families. And Trump is married to an immigrant, probably came over illegally, and our vice president JD Vance is married to an immigrant, and they pick and choose who they're going to attack. The people they attack are dirty. The rest of them are fine. I heard today that there were people who were actually ready to be naturalized, and they were at their naturalization to become citizens. They were at their naturalization um, ceremony, and they were turned away at the very last minute because Trump doesn't want people from their countries anymore. They had gone all through the process. Now, in order to co create a better world, a different world, well, we have to ask ourselves what do we want this world to look like, excuse me. And I want this world to look like a society that cares for the needs of people and the earth. Do you have an argument with that? You think there's something better to do than co-creating a society that cares for the needs of people and the earth? Well, that's what I want to see. That's the kind of world that I want to build. But also I want to say that I feel that there are three extremely important qualities that we have to have if we're going to do that. The first quality is courage. And why am I putting courage first? Because we need to have the courage to think for ourselves and stop being told what to think. See, we are told that this is the best of all possible worlds. This is the way it has to be, that capitalism is the only answer, that, it's normal to be racist and misogynist and all of that. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with any of that. And that people are taught that the way their parents thought was the right way, or the friends thought was the right way. And we need the courage to stand up to all the thinking that is knee jerk, where we are not thinking critically. We need courage, and we need courage to stand up and tell the truth when we think we know it. Stand up to ourselves, stand up to our parents, stand up to our friends, stand up to people on social media. We need courage for that. And we need awareness, courage, awareness, creativity. Why do we need awareness? Because if we're not aware, we don't know what's going on. People say, oh, yes, these Trump supporters, they never had an opportunity to learn what Trump was really like. Really? I don't know if that's true. I heard Trump at his rallies, and he said disgusting things about all kinds of people. Were you there? Did you hear it? Did you actually go to his rallies? Did you listen to what he was saying? Or Tucker Carlson at the Madison Square Garden rally, where he said that daddy was coming home and that, that we girls that needed a spanking. You didn't notice that. So we need awareness, and that is more than being given honest information, which you don't get if you don't look around. But you also need the willingness to be aware, the wanting to be aware, the courage to face your own prejudices in order to be aware. And we need to be self aware, number one. We have to see what our biases are. We need to see what our prejudices are, see how conditioned we have been to certain ways of thinking. All awareness of ourselves, awareness of other. We need to understand what's going on with other people and why they're doing what they're doing. That's awareness. And the third thing is we need creativity. And why do I say we need creativity? Because who the hell is going to build this world that we want other than us? Are we waiting for the robber barons to come in and create an equitable society? Are we hoping that Elon Musk is suddenly going to have a change of heart, give all his money away and start helping people? Or Peter Thiel or any of these other billionaires who are stealing our money and our power, right, left, and center, and our media, by the way. One of these billionaires, right wing billionaires, is trying to take over Warner Brothers and CBS. So we need creativity. We've got to figure it out. We have to figure it out, and we're going to figure it out because nobody is going to hand us a blueprint for how we are going to build this world. But I'm telling you that what I'm seeing is that it is already happening. People are doing independent media. People are forming informal, people have gone out and risked their lives standing up to ICE without even being organized to do it, but just knowing it's the right thing. I know that we have creativity. We can think independently. We can come up with great ideas. And why aren't we? Well, it's already happening to a certain degree, but we need confidence. We need courage. We need awareness. We need creativity. Tonight, I'm going to bring on two individuals who would like to speak to why they are signing on to this idea and this movement. And they're both from the Stream. The Stream is my spiritual organization. And I want to tell you that I have a history of a social activist, a radical from many, many, many years. I have a background as a spiritual teacher for many, many, many years. I've written many books. I know all about spirituality, right? And I know what's being called for in this moment is action, but with our spirituality and our honesty. And I'm living in this time just as you are. Some days I'm so angry I could rip someone's head off. Some days I just want to hide and say, hey, I'm old, because I am old. I'm over 80 years old, and I don't have that many years left on this godforsaken planet with global warming that our representatives act like they're so stupid they don't know it exists because their great leader tells them it's a hoax along with inflation. And sometimes I'm just too tired to try anymore. I said, but I can't do it. I can't give up without another fight. And I'm here to fight. I'm here to fight with you sometimes. I'm going to tell you things that you might not want to hear. And I have to have the courage to do that. And I have to have the courage to have you not like this show, not share it, not give it a like or a love or subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook. I have to have courage and I have to have awareness as to what's going on. I have to actually have to watch and listen to what's happening, even though it makes me want to puke and I just want to hide. And I need to watch myself too. Oh my God, today I just want to make one confession before I start to bring on my guests and talk about the Stream. That, by the way, the Stream started as a spiritual organization, but it has become a spiritual activist organization because we need it all. So today, for the first time, I actually saw a section of an interview of Nick Fuentes. And if you don't know who Nick Fuentes is, you're lucky. But he's one of those, I guess, manospheres, macho guys who makes a thing out of putting down women. And he's also, an anti Semite, and he's a neo Nazi and all of that. And he was being interviewed. And this is what I got to tell you guys. This guy is a fucking wimp. He is a wimp. He said, he was asked by the interviewer, who is really not a progressive or a liberal, but looked great compared to him because he's not a Holocaust denier. Anyway, he said, have you ever been laid? Now, I can't believe that was the way that it was put out, but it was. He was put out. And the guys, and this guy, Nick, he said no. And so the interviewer said, are you gay? He said, no. So why haven't you been laid? He said, well, women are annoying. Women are annoying. And that women shouldn't have the right to vote and should stay home. Now, I'm watching this guy's got millions of followers, right? And I'm thinking, this is the best you can do. This guy is a wimp. He's afraid of women. And it's obvious. Now, I don't like to characterize people. I want to have compassion. Something happened to this kid that made him go that way. I don't know what it was. And he's probably very traumatized. But I look at him and I think, why isn't anybody saying these guys are scared? They're scared of women. They don't want to compete with women because they're afraid if they have an equal playing field, they're going to lose. And it became so obvious to me how weak these people are, how weak Donald Trump really is. Mr. needs to be flattered every 2 seconds. These people are weak. We are not. I feel sorry for them. I have compassion for them. I want to see them heal. But first and foremost, I want to stop them. And I want us to have something to look forward to build towards. Let's start creating the society we want now. What are we waiting for? I would love to see people's tribunals all over the country, putting Pam Bondi and Kash Patel and Donald Trump on trial, people's tribunals for all of the illegal, immoral, unforgivable things that they are doing to our nation today. So I'm going to introduce two people from our organization, and I'm going to see what happens if I bring them on. One is Amy Canner. Okay, and we start losing our faces, and
Now we lose James.
So, you're going to have to get really close to each other.
Right. Okay, thank you. James doesn't mind being half a face. So, which of you would like to speak first about why you believe this is the right time to start building the world we want?
I'll start. Why didn't you give me a second?
Amy.
I talk?
Go for it.
Go for it. Well, I think first of all, I'm always inspired by your courage, that you say what needs to be said regardless. And what I've discovered is that I tend to let you do that and not stand with you. And that's what I discovered when I used to be part of a panel of your previous Wednesday shows. And I stopped for a variety of reasons, but didn't consider that was withdrawing support for what you do, because I believe strongly in it. And so when you discussed changing the format to something like this, I thought this is a perfect opportunity to first have the courage to say, yes, I left and took support away. And that's not who I am.
Wow.
And awareness of some of the things that I let get in the way, particularly reactions to things, and that I don't have to be stopped by those. So that's why I decided I wanted to be on this. And when I see so many negative things said about Trump, it's like, that's enough of this already. Let's do something. And that's why I like the thrust of this with the courage, awareness, and creativity and support, and not looking to you to be the standard bearer like I've been doing. I mean, you have all kinds of spiritual capacities and intuition that I don't have, but it doesn't mean I can't support what you see as possibilities.
Or that you can't bring forward what you have, that you may not have what I have, but it doesn't mean you don't have something that we need.
Right. I'm not sure exactly what that is, other than sharing your programs. And also, I mean, there was a time when I didn't, because I worried about what people said. And then I got past that. I don't give a anyway, what people say. Sorry about that.
Well, you're
because
bringing
this is who I really am. And if they don't like it, why would I care?
Exactly. You are bringing yourself to this program. If we're going to co-create the world that we want to live in, each one of us has to bring who we are and what we have. We can't be somebody else. We can't have talents we don't have. But we have a purpose on this earth. Each one of us has something that we can offer. And you're coming on like this is, who knows how many people you are going to inspire by what you're saying, Amy. I know a lot of people look at me and say, oh, you're so courageous, Beth. And I'm not, and I'm going to go hide, right? But you getting up in there and you're saying, well, I haven't always been courageous. They need to hear that.
Well, also, I didn't put my last name on it first. I thought, why the not? Well, I'm not going to be able to say much of anything given how much I love to swear. But so I went and put it back on. So my mom was very highly ethical, and she always was doing what was right. I mean, things that people thought were ridiculous. You know, if she hit someone's car, she would leave a note on it or do all kinds of things, which I do now too. And I realized I can, it'd be like an homage to her to stand up for what's right, because she started out as a kid doing that for her classmates.
Beautiful.
And so I think that's everything, unless you see anything else or have a question.
No, I think that was awesome. And it's in your blood. So I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on tonight and for speaking so forthrightly. And next, I guess, Todd must have something to say.
I do. Well, I was inspired by Amy and what she said. And I want to also say, I have put you on a pedestal, Beth, which has left you alone, meaning like when you put someone on a pedestal and like make them everything, the answer to everything, the answer for everything, then they're alone with that, right? They are just left alone hanging out there like they have to have all the answers all the time. So, and I've also withdrawn support in other ways, saying I'll do something and not doing it. So, I know what it can be like because I have children. There are many times I've asked them to do something that they don't. And you're just like, all right. I mean, sometimes it's all right. And the worst is like, God damn.
You can't beat your children.
No, I can't beat my children. I haven't, thankfully,
Thank God.
But I want to be a part of this because I know that I do have something to offer, and I'm tired of holding that back. Like, what am I waiting for? This is the time. And that was your question. Like, why now? It's because, like, what is the alternative? Hang out in, get depressed and go down the tubes? No, that's not us, and that's not what we're showing right now. I was part of the march in San Diego. I was part of that movement of like playfulness and creativity and the courage to get out there and just stand for something. So I'm gonna do everything I can. I don't want to overstate what I can do, but I do want to do my part. And yeah,
it's always courageous to acknowledge our limitations.
Yes.
And to work with them. So you said something that really, reminds me of some of the things that I would like to say tonight.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons that it's time for us to start co-creating that world and building the world we want. And I'm talking about, let's really start talking about what we can do. But this is the beginning. This is our first show of this new series. And I just wanted to give people a flavor of what we're trying to do and see if you would like to be a contributor and come on and I can interview you. But it's what you said. If we don't do it, we will get depressed. I am more I get more of a pickup by being inspired to do something creative and wonderful than I am sitting around bitching and moaning and complaining. And I mean, I have to bitch and moan and complain sometimes, but there's a lot to complain about. And like I said, resistance is really important, and I admire that. But I will go down the tubes. Maybe we won't be able to co-create and build the world we want. Maybe global warming will kill us before we ever do. Maybe Trump's ICE Gestapo will end up arresting all of us. And I don't know who's going to be consuming the objects. Of course, AI is going to consume everything that AI produces, and they won't need us anyway. So who knows what's going to happen? But am I going to think that way? No. I'm going to think we can do it. I need to tell myself we can do this. I don't want to commit suicide. I don't want to be defeated. I don't want to be one of those people that's, oh, I'm so upset. I can't now. Listen, there are people whose lives are hell now because of this administration, but really hell, losing their children, their loved ones, being in detention centers, losing their jobs, losing their medical insurance, all of that. I'm not denying that. And I'm not denying the incredible pain of that. But even those of us who are not as directly, I mean, I'm impacted also by everything that's happening, but not as much as somebody who is Mexican. You know what I mean?
Or Venezuelan, or
Venezuela. Oh yeah, now
Ecuadorian, or
Or Somali.
right,
yeah.
Somali, right. Yeah, yeah. Like Trump has decided to go back and he's going to take over all of South America. So he can't even run his own administration, and he needs to run everything else.
Or stay
But,
awake.
right, right, right. But
Oh, sorry.
but what I'm saying is, okay, I'm not asking everybody to do it, but I'm asking everybody to think about it because I am impacted. My health has gone down the tube since Trump came into office. The amount of stress that I feel every day, and so do you. We can't even measure how much this has impacted us psychologically and emotionally, that we're losing our nation, we're losing our rights, we're losing our liberty, and we're seeing brutality against our fellows. Listen, there's always been brutality everywhere in the world, right? But we used to say, well, it isn't that bad here. Well, now it's getting that bad. And so this is ruining my life. And I'm not going to let it ruin my life. So, what can we do? And so, I would like to hear from people. I'd love for you to write to me. My email is in the show description. You have a story about something that you're co creating.
That's
That
building that world that we want to live in.
it
Yeah.
could be, I hear that the West Coast um, states and Illinois are doing their own vaccination suggestions.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
Right?
They weren't
So
going to be
that's,
stopped by.
you see what I'm saying? People are standing up. There was, this initiative to get California to be able to redistrict, which passed. Um, to gerrymander in order to fight. I mean, people are incredibly creative. Todd mentioned in the San Diego, and James went to some demonstrations too. There was so much creativity in the posters that people were putting up, and in the humor that they had, and how people have, this ICE app telling people where ICE is. This is what I'm talking about. It's already happening.
I'd like to share a quick example.
Go ahead,
Just
James.
yesterday,
Yes.
in Minneapolis, a bunch of protesters who were just peacefully protesting, ICE, and ICE was trying to make arrests. And the protest was so successful, even though they got pepper sprayed, not a single arrest was made, not one, because ICE was stopped in its tracks, just because the people came together as a combined force and got that result.
Absolutely. Thank you. This is James Maynard, my husband. So he did more than hold my hand. He made a very good contribution. Thank you, honey. That's what I want to hear. So I'm sure that there are things happening. When that pastor from Chicago started talking about how there was this network forming spontaneously, people are doing it spontaneously. We have been brainwashed into thinking somebody has to tell us what to do. Mommy, daddy, Trump, right? They have to tell us what to do. We don't need them to tell us what to do. We need to have courage, we need to have awareness, and we need to use our own creativity. So please write to me, Beth at thestream.info. The Stream is the nonprofit organization I was talking about. Todd happens to be the president of the Stream. And the Stream is backing me up on this, and Amy is on the board also. It's like, we really think this is important, and we're going to make our contribution. I want to see this grow and grow and grow and grow. I want to see this as being a place where people can come to get hope, to get ideas. They're not going to come
I was
from
just
me.
going to say that this could be a birthing area for ideas and suggestions from people who are looking for something other than either resisting or giving up.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, something else. And I just want to add, I mean, it's so transparent now, but smoking was everywhere. And it didn't look like that would ever change on airplanes, buses, every place, indoors and out. And now it's not allowed. And that took a lot of political, not political, partially popular will to do something about that. But that didn't look like that was a slam dunk for the longest time.
Nothing.
And now it's in
is.
place, so it means we can do things like this.
Yes. Yes. If you look at history, if you look at our history, the robber barons came, and then came the Depression. Yeah, does that sound familiar? And then came the New Deal.
Right.
And we're talking about how more radical, more progressive people are coming in to power because they're being supported by the population. We have to tell the American people the truth, stop treating people like children, like they can't hear it. And we need to pull ourselves together and to have faith in one another. So if you like the show, give it a like, give it a love on Facebook, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook. Come back next Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. And
Pacific time.
what's that?
Pacific time.
Pacific time. And share this program with the friends, especially ones you're afraid to share it with. And I want to show you this. Again, I don't know, a lot of you weren't here. See Building the World We Want with Beth Green, your host. You see this girl here?
Mm-hmm.
That's not me, but it is me. It's who I am on the inside. You see that spunk? And I want to thank Todd for helping me with these graphics. That girl she believes in the future, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And so do I. So here we go. How do we live through the Trump era? The answer is by building the world we want to live in. Come back next week. Come see us again. And here I'm going to play you some music and leave comments. Leave comments. Okay. Good night and thank you for coming.
Thank you.